Hey, it's Ryan with Guitar Results, and we're going to get into how to use the pick. Huge point of struggle for beginners. Now, there are different size picks, different types of picks. We're going to keep this simple. So just get this teardrop shaped pick, and you're going to use the pointy end. And I would get something that isn't like paper thin. So if you're thinking about thickness, think like 0.7 to 1.2. Okay, so 0.7 is going to be more medium, 1.2 is going to be pretty heavy, all right, and more stiff. If it gets too thin and bendy, okay, this is fine for strumming. It will affect the sound a little bit, but it's not going to be good for picking. The more firm the pick is, the more rigid it is, which will help with quite a lot of things as you go. But as a beginner, this can be tough, and it doesn't feel good, but you'll improve faster. So, you know, if you get a medium-sized pick, 0.7, 0.75, 0.8, something like that, it's firm, but it's not super stiff. Part of that will depend on what the pick is made out of. Some picks are just the material. Even if it's the same size, it feels different. Test some things out. The main thing is that you are moving forward with it and practicing with it every day. Now, when we hold the pick, most people will, there's a number of different ways to hold it. We'll get into that later, or you can check out my course, Beginner Guitar Basics. I get into all the fine details of how to hold the pick for optimum results. And you'll see people hold the pick all kinds of different ways. And that's a whole nother story we'll get into another time maybe. But when you're holding the pick, just think thumb and index. But most people will hold it like way too loose. So the pick is just flopping around in there. It turns in their hand when they're strumming. They drop it, it falls in the sound hole if you're playing acoustic. That's not good. We need to have a good firm grip on it. You don't have to squeeze it really hard. It shouldn't hurt, but it shouldn't move or turn in your hand. If it's turning, that's a sign you're holding it too loose. I did this for a long time. We want to move the strings with the pick. We don't want the strings to be moving the pick. And the way you can test this is if you have the pick and you grab it and you pull on it with your other hand, you shouldn't be able to pull it out of your hand. And that's about the right amount of grip you need. Another problem that comes up is people will hold it too firmly. It's too much grip and they just are grabbing it like this, and you strum like this, and you're just gonna annihilate your strings. It doesn't sound good. So holding it too firmly will have a bad effect as well. It won't move in your hand, which is good, but your end result is it's not gonna sound great and it's gonna be really awkward. So let's not get it too firm. Okay, another big challenge is not angling the pick. This is a tough one. So when you're strumming, your pick probably shouldn't hit the strings totally flat, because then you get this boing sound and it really smashes through there versus having a nice smooth sound. So when you're hitting the string, if the pick is flat and it hits that string flat, it's going to hit it aggressively. We want to angle it like this so it slices through the string. Okay, it doesn't mean tilt it up or down. Okay, it doesn't mean to turn it. It means you're just going to tilt it like this at an angle so it more smoothly goes through the strings. More on that in my course. See, another problem is pointing the pick upwards. So when people start, they're often strumming down, and they'll point the pick up so as it hits the strings, it just glides through them like this, okay? And that's fine when you're going up, but then when you are going down, but when you go up, it ends up getting caught, right? Or you end up turning your wrist and then pointing it down. You end up keep having to do this twisty thing with the wrist, okay? If it was like a tiny bit, you know, that's fine. But when you need to twist your wrist a bunch when you strum, watch people play guitar. Nobody does this. Okay, if we're strumming, we don't want to be strumming and have to be doing this nonsense. Okay, we just want to, the hand should just move straight up and down. You probably couldn't see that too well, so let me stand for this. So we don't want to be turning your wrist like this, no good. Okay, so if you're strumming down only, you're pointing it up, that's fine, but we want to be able to move through there. And if you notice, I'm not twisting like this. My wrist is just going like this because I have a nice pick angle. Okay, I'm not flat. We got an angle. Smooth. And if you want to get more aggressive, it's easy to do with that. Okay, another big issue is using too much pick. Usually beginners hold it back here and the pick is just really floppy, right? Well, and it'll fall out of your hand like that, right? It makes it loose. So this kind of goes with the first point of holding it too loose. We're going to move this pick up and we're going to have maybe 1/4 of an inch, okay, sticking out, all right? And from there, you have a nice, it's much more firm. You can hold it really firm and it'll move a tiny bit, but not easily, okay? And even if you held it a little looser, it's still not gonna get too far, okay? So hopefully you can see that. And if you notice, my thumb and my index on the top and bottom are equidistant from the tip of the pick. A lot of times beginners also, they'll hold it like this. Now when this happens, the finger ends up hitting the string. So what they do is they just move their whole hand way back here. That's not what we want. Also, when you have it like this, when you strum down, the pick is going to bend. When you strum up, the pick gets stuck, so it's not going to be consistent. All right, now, if we have it even, just get used to that and stick with it, okay? Now, it doesn't need to be perfectly 1/4 of an inch, it's a little bit more, a little less, but you're probably going to want to get closer than you think. All right, if your fingers are hitting the strings too much, it could be that you're holding it too close. It could be that you're using way too much pick, okay? So when people are strumming, often as beginners, they're putting like loads of the pick in there and it's just smashing the string. So by holding it closer to the tip, you get less pick that is able to go in there. And especially when strumming, we want the pick to be able to easily go in and through the strings. And if you're going in really far, that garbage happens and no one likes that. Okay, and this helps when you have the angle. So if we go back to that angle and we have all this, putting it all together, it's going to work great. A good way to test the angle is just to pick one string and go back and forth a bunch. If you can easily go in and out of the string, down, up, then you got a good angle. If it's flat, you'll feel it's not easy to do at all. So, all right, so if we have this angle, we can go up and down, not using too much pick. And you get a nice strum for those chords. Okay, hopefully that helps. To get more details on this, check out beginner guitar basics at guitarresults.com. If you want help with your strumming, especially as a beginner, check out our free course, Strumming Success, at guitarresults.com. Even if you're not a beginner, even if you've been strumming for a while, but you struggle with timing, rhythm placement, how to keep track, how to properly learn new rhythms, how to write your own rhythms, having that Strumming Success as a basic starting point will really help a ton. And yeah, and it's free, so check that out. All right, thanks for watching. Have a good day.